Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and it is review time, but before we get into today's review, I just have a couple quick announcements to make. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for the support on my April Fool's Day video. I spent a ton of time on that, and I did not expect it to be received so well. Yes, the Monstercat Top 10 Artist video was a joke, and no, I will not be doing a Monstercat Top 10 Artist video in the future at any foreseeable time, probably because there are just so many Monstercat artists to choose from. I really don't want to narrow it down into a 10. Maybe I could do like a top 50 or something like that, but chances are that's just not going to happen. I do, though, want to focus this channel a little bit more on top 10s. Of course, I still want to do my regular review content, but I think you guys really dig the top 10 content, so I want to do those about as often as I do the throwback reviews, because those have been pretty well received as well. So about every month I want to try to do a top 10, or just on occasion, like when I did my Riddim top 10, that was right before his recent EP dropped. So get hyped for those, and get hyped for a lot of other exciting content that's coming this year. I can promise it's going to be good stuff. Secondly, kind of covers a topic that I haven't really talked about much on this channel, and that's my vinyl wall of fame that's behind me. Basically, the purpose of this wall is that it features vinyls of albums that were really either influential on my taste in music or artists that I've had like a special kind of experience with. The purpose of me mentioning this is that today I've actually inducted Elohim, who's in the top right there, to my vinyl wall of fame, and kind of the reason behind that is both her music is great. Actually, that EP, her debut Elohim EP, actually placed #1 on my top 10 EPs of 2016 list, and also she has been a massive supporter of my videos throughout the last year, and it's just really exciting to see her blowing up as an artist. So I figured putting her on this wall would be the least I can do for her. She is a great girl and a very talented artist. There's going to be a lot of other stuff going up on the wall, but it's going to involve quite a bit of rearranging, so this is just kind of how it looks right now, but that'll be changed in the summer and again next fall. And I guess every time I put up a new vinyl, kind of like I did today, I'm going to just take a brief moment in one video to recognize its spot on this wall. But with all that aside, let's get into my review of the new EP from Dodge and Fuski called All Killer, No Filler. This EP seems to be named after the Sum 41 album of the same title, but it appears that the music of that album has had no influence whatsoever on this EP. Now, the topic of Dodge and Fuski is a little bit of a hard one to talk about, largely because Fuski left the group a number of years ago, and Rob, who is Dodge, has kind of continued the project on his own. But for the sake of this EP in particular, I am going to refer to them as a duo for the most part. And to save some time, in short, Fuski has returned with this EP. And the general public doesn't know entirely how many tracks Fuski worked on this EP. It's at least 2 and no more than 3. Along with that, we don't actually know how long Fuski is going to be staying with the project, presumably just for this EP and maybe another time in the future, but chances are he's not back with the duo. And although I think this is a little bit gimmicky, I am willing to shove my thoughts on that aside for this EP, because I honestly and truly think this is Dodge and Fuski's best EP to date. Prior to Fuski's departure, the duo was known for having a pretty unique sound and making some really standout tracks. For example, the song Porn Step, which of course is known for being one of the wackiest dubstep songs in history. After Fuski left, though, I'll be honest, Rob's creativity kind of went out the window. Most of Rob's solo music has either been just uninspiring or even like blatant rip-offs of other songs. For example, the song Poison, his collaboration with Barely Alive, takes some seriously heavy inspiration from Terror Squad by Zomboy. And then the song Okay from his most recent EP, the Pretty Good EP, sounds almost identical to Sesko's remix of The Dopest by Moxie. Basically what I'm trying to get at is that Rob has kind of made himself out to be a much less unique and less talented version of Zomboy. Just cherry-picking different sounds from the BROSTEP scene, but without all the insane mixing skills that Zomboy has. I kind of already spoiled it when I said that this was my favorite Dodge and Fuski EP to date, but honestly, All Killer, No Filler is just on another level entirely. There's 3 very distinct points that this EP hits that I felt like their previous projects didn't as much, and the first of these is this return of sorts to Dodge and Fuski's old sound. With the song Comeback, of course, arguably the most gimmicky title of the bunch, we get this this return to Dodge and Fuski's more melodic bass lines, what they were known for in their early days. And this not only serves as enjoyable throwback material for the EP, but it also combines very nicely with a more modern brand of BROSTEP, making for Comeback to be one of the more enjoyable and well-balanced songs on the project. The second big reoccurring theme in this EP is its widespread inclusion of Riddim dubstep. Now, I would not call myself a fan of Riddim, and honestly, I think people who make Riddim dubstep are just fans of BROSTEP that want to be super trendy and make something in an entirely different genre, but it ends up basically rooting back into BROSTEP, with Riddim kind of using these different triplet patterns and swing with its synths. It's BROSTEP. Like, it's literally BROSTEP with very, very minor alterations. But with this EP in particular, I kind of have to kick myself a little bit because I found myself liking the Riddim drops on this one a lot. Unlike with Rob's solo music in the past, I felt like these Riddim drops had a lot of variation with them, something that I hadn't even seen really in Riddim in general, but I think they worked it really nicely into the songs on this EP, kind of flipping back and forth between different rhythmic patterns and pitch variations. Both Big Riddim Mariachi and 1-800-RIDDIM basically took the top 2 spots in my favorite Riddim songs list. Not that that list was very long to begin with, but I highly liked both of these songs. Minus the fact that Dodge and 12th Planet probably could have found a better mariachi band sample to use. This one doesn't really sound super authentic at all. Didn't even really sound like a mariachi band that much to me, at least my first couple listens, and it still doesn't even listening to it today. With that aside, the production on this song honestly makes for this one to be my favorite so far in the Big Riddim series that Dodge and 12th Planet have done. Although I would probably say that it's really difficult to beat out Big Riddim Monster because that one is just an absolute classic. But getting away from that, let's segue into the last topic, which is this bit of self-awareness that this EP shows for Dodge and Fuski. To kind of put that in perspective, I feel like the song Flatline, the fourth and final track on the EP, has Virus Syndicate kind of sort of making fun of the Riddim dubstep community, where he says, "Call it dubstep, call it Riddim, I'm about it, are you about it?" With that, I kind of feel like Virus Syndicate is poking fun at this little war that's going on in between the BROSTEP community and the Riddim dubstep community, really because they're so similar, like I already mentioned earlier in this, yet there's so much unneeded fighting going on in those two communities. And I'd honestly kind of hoped that this song would be able to bring an end to that little war that's going on, but of course, looking at the comment section of this song on YouTube, there are still wars going on in the comments about whether this song itself is dubstep or Riddim, which is the most ironic thing I have ever seen. And then going back to the start of the EP, the dialogue on Big Riddim Mariachi kind of sheds some light on some things as well, where Rob kind of comes to this self-revelation and he's like, "Really? Big Riddim Mariachi? Couldn't we just make a normal tune for a change?" And 12th Planet, of course, replies with, "Nah." And I feel like in a way that's kind of a diss on the fans, just because people will eat this stuff up, even though Big Riddim Mariachi is the third and most ridiculous bunch of the Big Riddim series. And of course in Dodge and Fuski's other music, he's just been so copy-paste in the last few years, and people will still eat it up and practically worship him as a god-tier producer in this scene, even though, you know, he's been kind of ripping off everyone else at the same time. This EP, though, from what I can tell, is going to be a turning point for Dodge and Fuski. After this, I can see Dodge going out and making some more creative music, kind of pushing boundaries in dubstep, and just really finding a way to connect his roots into a more futuristic sound, and overall just make stuff that's less generic. I may have dissected it a little bit too deep, but honestly, in comparison to Dodge and Fuski's other music, I think this EP is an absolute gold mine. It truly is all killer no filler, and I am feeling a decent 7.5 out of 10 for this one. As always, I have the Spotify link down in the description if you guys want to go check this one out for yourselves, and if you have listened to it, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Anyway, I'm Landon Remixes, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you later. Peace.